Good day to you, Willard Shepard at Willard Shepard Law and Media and In the Know. Great to have you with us on the Miami Community News Network, coming from Orlando. And we are with Sia Baker-Barnes, who is the president-elect of the Florida Bar. We're very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And moving into this, you're a South Florida resident
I
from
am.
Palm Beach County.
Yes.
So many of the South Florida residents, of course, seeing this and across our state and beyond. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tremendous honor. And secondly, tell us about the bar's mission. You know, so many times people think we need a lawyer, but they're hesitant to do so. They think there may be cost prohibitive for them.
Right.
And I know that that's something that's close to both of us about being able to help so many people.
Right. So, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be on your show and to be able to have this great responsibility and this great role. The bar's mission is to help our citizens, to provide excellent service through the skill and talent of our lawyers, and most importantly, to regulate the profession. So we regulate ourselves. We're unlike other professions in that we want to ensure that we deliver the highest level of legal services to folks, and that our services are accessible. So you mentioned, affordability, access, hesitancy, right, of folks to hire a lawyer. But really, we span all backgrounds and all areas of practice. And our goal, I think, at the end of the day as lawyers is to put our clients in a better position than the position they are in when they come to us. So that's, what I try to communicate to my clients. My goal is to try to improve this situation through the skills and talent that we have. So as a bar, it's really very much about communication and making sure that people understand that these services are available, how to find a lawyer, the importance of having a lawyer, all the nuances that maybe you don't know about, as a lay person that we do because we've been trained to do that. And I think maybe give people a level of comfort. There's some perceptions out there about lawyers, right, that we, I think, as a bar, are really trying to guard against and make sure that people understand that we're good people. We're trying to provide good service and hopefully get a good outcome for our clients.
I know in my personal injury practice, I have many people call and, they have situations and they want to sue somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm a person that always wants to try to resolve things.
Sure.
Talk about how for the general public that actually going to court is a final end result. And we hope to be able to amicably be able to resolve things and that expectation that people have at the beginning, but so much can be done before that.
Well, I mean, there are obviously many steps, as you know, in the process of a lawsuit. So I handle catastrophic, complex personal injury, medical malpractice, wrongful death cases. I'm a trial lawyer. I spend my time in the courtroom, right? And I'm a litigator, so most of my cases go to court. But really, most of my clients, when they come to me, they're not looking to go to court. I mean, they want someone that can do it if it needs to be done. They're looking for a solution to their problem, right? Maybe there's a business dispute between two companies. Maybe it's a family dispute. Maybe it's a personal injury action where someone has been wrongfully injured and needs to be compensated for the injuries that they sustained. But at the end of the day, how you get from A to Z is what you're asking about, right? And you can get from A to Z by filing a lawsuit, by going to trial, by going to mediation, by sitting down with the other side and having a meaningful discussion about the things that we can agree on and maybe the things that we don't agree on, and trying to find common ground in the middle somewhere. So, as lawyers, we're counselors, we're advisors, we are warriors, right? But at the end of the day, we all want to get a good result from our client, and there's many ways to accomplish that.
I'm an evidence-based person from my days in journalism and military, and I always say that a person who comes forward that provides a vast amount of evidence opens the door for you to be able to have a reasonable conversation before so much has to be done down the road, and that with that type of evidence, you're able to solve a problem and solve it in financially and time expeditiously manner with that. So what's the message to people who are thinking about coming to see one of us about them having and documenting the things within their power that they're able to.
I mean, that's a conversation that I have so many times with prospective clients, right? As lawyers, the answers are found within the information that we can gather, and much of that is what you can provide to us, right? So if your client, for example, has had a medical malpractice issue, much of the case comes from what conversations did you have with the medical providers? What did the nurse tell you or not tell you? What did the doctor say? Maybe it's a business dispute and there's a question about what the agreement really was, right? Well, that's going to come from your prospective client. So I think providing us with as much information as you can is critically important to us being able to effectively do our job.
And staying ahead of that information
Of
all the
course.
time. We're unfortunately coming into a climate change in a season where it's predicted we can have a significant number of storms, unfortunately, here in Florida.
Sure.
And this is really the time already for people to document what is taking place at their residence prior to any damage, those types of things across the board.
Right. Well, we hate to think about those things, don't we? We don't want to think, oh, my house is going to get hit by a hurricane, or I'm going to lose all of my luggage on this flight, right? Those types of things. But it's always a good idea to have the information. I can speak from experience. So when I was in law school, my last year of law school, my family unfortunately had a house fire in our home, and our house burned to the ground. And you think you know what's in your home, and you think you know what you've lost, but it's incredibly difficult to put those things back together if you don't have it documented. And we did not expect that to happen. And so just the process of handling the insurance and all of that, and what furniture we had, paintings, pictures, you name it. It was a very, very difficult process. And if you have planned for that and prepared for it, it makes it a whole lot easier in the event, that something unfortunate like that happens.
You mentioned your family,
Yes.
and I know about your journey, which is so admirable, and
Right.
it reminds me so much of my family's journey and
Sure.
back to my grandparents, and how you and I ended up with the opportunity of being so blessed to even sit here today where we are.
Absolutely.
But I want people in the state of Florida to know about who you are
Sure.
and where you came from and your grandparents
Yeah.
and the incredible things that it says for all of our faults about our country and our state in many ways, and we have them. This is, at the end of the day, what makes us always say our great land.
Right. Well, I mean, today is Emancipation Day. It's Juneteenth, and it's a very important day to me and so many, because I think it is symbolic of the evolution of our nation and the evolution of our existence within this nation, right? And our history is important. And I think our history is important because it helps to guide our past, our present, and our future. So my story is that, I'm the product of my grandmothers who did not have the ability to get an education because of the dynamics that were going on in this country at the time. They grew up at a time where it was unheard of for women to go to college, become a lawyer, go to law school. All that stuff was just like off the table, not even heard of. They grew up in extreme poverty, and my father was born not in a hospital but in a home with no running water and no electricity. My mother grew up in the housing projects in Tampa, and I was born in Tampa. And my grandparents, They may not have had the ability to get the education that you and I were blessed with the ability to get, but they had innate intelligence, talent, skill, and most importantly, faith. And they knew that they wanted more for their family, and they had a vision about that. So my grandfather was in construction. He worked at the docks in Tampa. My grandmother went to the 10th grade, and then she had to drop out and get to work for her family. But when he learned construction, he decided that he was going to start his own construction business, because the majority businesses in Tampa would not hire him. And he did. He started his own construction company. And he purchased a piece of property in Tampa with the dream of having a home for his family and getting them out of the projects. And he did. And he and his men at night would build our home, and they would work during the day. And on the other side, on my dad's side of the family, my grandmother went to the 3rd grade. And then she had to get to work, and she worked peeling shrimp in Dade City, Florida. He's from Pasco County. And she wanted to make sure that her children had opportunities. So she worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, to make sure that they had an opportunity for education. And on both sides, my dad is the first person in our family to go to college, to graduate high school. He went on to law school. He became he integrated law firms in Palm Beach County. He was the first Black lawyer hired at a majority firm in Palm Beach County after becoming the chief homicide prosecutor at the state attorney's office in West Palm Beach. And we ended up in West Palm Beach because when my dad graduated from law school, he wanted to work in Tampa, in Central Florida, where our family was, but no one would hire him. Not a single. And he was extremely talented. He had every tool you could have in your toolbox, but no one would hire him. He was a young Black male lawyer, and he got an opportunity in West Palm Beach, and he moved there, and he became one of the top prosecutors in Palm Beach County. Integrated law firms. On my mom's side of the family, she has 4 siblings. Every one of them went to college, and they are all first-generation college graduates. And on my grandmother in Tampa, she produced another lawyer, my Aunt Gloria, who went to Georgetown Law. She's the oldest. My Uncle Marvin, who was a computer engineer at Lockheed Martin. My Aunt Veronica, who's a PhD college professor. And my mother, who ran the Department of Corrections in Palm Beach County for over 20 years. And, so my grandparents really laid a foundation for our family, and I think instilled in us the importance of education, the importance of a strong work ethic, of integrity, but understanding that there's no limits to what we could accomplish. And they proved that. And then we're doing our very best to live out their dream and do it in the way that we know that they would want us to do it. And so, I'm sitting here today because of them.
It's always touching when I hear you, talk about your family and where they were and how they were able to instill in your parents and therefore in you and in your kids what their ethics were that overcome any education, overcome any financial obstacles, those types of things. Now with this responsibility, I presume that is something that you carry with you every step you take through these hallways and embody in what we want to be in terms of making sure that these opportunities that we've been fortunate to have are not lost on those coming behind us. So talk about that.
Well, I think that's the most critically important part, right? It's not all about you. In fact, it's very much not about you. It's about the opportunities that you provide for those that will come after you. Because if it stops with you, then really, what's the point, right? And so that's something that I think was really instilled in us at a young age by my grandparents and my parents, that, you have an obligation to give back. People often ask, like, well, you're a lawyer and you have a family and you have a husband and you have kids. Why are you spending so much time doing this? And it's because we have to do it. Because we have a responsibility to do it. Because there's young and up and coming lawyers that see themselves in us, that see their opportunity in us, and see their ability to achieve in us. And so just being, I think, present, being willing to listen, providing opportunities and advice to those that are up and coming, and then letting them shine, right, is a really important part, I think, of what we do in our service. And so, to give you an example, now, let me see, what is this, 2024, so it's going to be almost 10 years now. I was president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association, and I was the first Black woman to serve as president of the Palm Beach County Bar. And you get installed and you give a speech, and when I spoke, I talked about the fact that, I had goals for my year, but my ultimate goal was to be an asset to those lawyers that would be coming after me, particularly those lawyers that look like me that maybe didn't think that they could do something like that. And just last week, we installed our president-elect, who is an African-American woman. The new president of the bar is a woman, and we've only had in 101 years of the Palm Beach County Bar Association 10 female presidents. That's it. And so, you know, we've come a long way. We still have a long way to go. And so I view this opportunity in the same way. I'm the first African-American president-elect of the Florida Bar, but my most important goal is to not be the last.
Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you wanted to make sure that we convey, especially to the general public, before you head off to the rest of your
I will say this, because I think it's really important. You know, people sometimes see us in these roles and they think, you know, well, you did this and you did that. And I can tell you without hesitation that I would not be sitting here today were it not for the incredible commitment, sacrifice, love, and support of my husband, Willard Barnes, of my parents, Moses and Rosalind Baker, my sister, my brother, my 3 children, Celia, Emery, and Eden. It takes a village, and it takes a really strong village to be able to have these types of opportunities and be able to really experience them in the way that they're meant to be experienced. And I'm so blessed and privileged that God has blessed me in this way. My faith is everything. My family is everything. And I would say to those that are looking to have these types of opportunities that it's really, I think, critically important that you stay grounded. I think a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in, you know, all of the swirl of everything. But for me, my family, my faith, and you know, the reasons behind what we do, you know, as instilled in me by my grandparents, is what's most important. Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you very much. God bless you for all that you've done and that you are doing. And my sister, now that I know about you, would be upset with me if we didn't give a shout out to the
Links Incorporated.
Yes.
I just left our National Assembly in Dallas, and I've been a Link for now. This is, I think, my 23rd year as a member of the Links, and I was president of the West Palm Beach chapter. And I want to give a shout out to our national president, Ethel Isaacs-Williams, who we became Links together, and she's just doing a phenomenal job. It's an amazing organization. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yes, and I've seen my sister, who was the national treasurer, spend we have a running joke in our family that she spends way more time working for the Links for free than she does
with her real job.
Actual real job.
Right.
So you all do a great thing.
Thank you.
From what I see, all the mentoring,
Absolutely.
what our grandparents would call home skills.
Home skills.
All of those types of things
That's
going
right.
forward.
Absolutely.
So the best of you here at the Bar Convention
you so much.
and beyond. Madam President-elect, thank you for your time, and thank you for being with us on In the Know.